boys and girls, welcome back. I'm reading the last of the books by Andrea Beatty, Sofia Valdez, Future Prez, another one I just love. But before we start, I'm going to do my riddle. What kind of dance was popular in 1776? Now remember, in 1776, that's when our country was founded. Think about it while we read. Here we go. Sofia Valdez, Future Prez. Sofia was a baby who got things done, helping her family before she turned 1. She and Abuelo went out every week to help elderly friends around Blue River Creek who couldn't get out and about on their own and with no place to gather were stuck home alone. Raking leaves, taking pets for a walk, or just dropping by for a treat and a talk. Sofia Valdez did as much as she could for her family, friends, and whole neighborhood. A dreamer, a doer, a real-life go-getter. Most people liked good, but Sofia liked better. Each morning, Abuelo rocked Sophie to class. They walked home again along Blue River Pass, making plans, munching cookies, Abuelo and girl, except for Tuesday when Pup saw the squirrel. With a howl, Pup took off, racing all through the town. Over, under, beneath, and around. Sofia scrambled to try to keep up with the hollering and the bellowing Pup. I like how she did the words in different directions. Up the squirrel ran to the top of the hill, made of leftover junk from the local landfill. They reached the tip-top of the mountain of trash with a jiggle and broke with an ear-splitting crash. Down they tumbled and hit with a thud on a moldy old pumpkin surrounded by mud. Ouch, cried Abuelo. He struggled to stand. A dangerous mess, he said, gasping his hand. The next day, Sofia walked to school solo, but it wasn't the same without her Abuelo. This is not right, declared young Sofia, who glared at Mount Trashmore and got an idea. The very next morning at dawn, she planted a sign in front of the lawn. She stood back and smiled, and Pup gave a bark. Get rid of Mount Trashmore. Let's build a new park. Each of her neighbors had something to say about benches and fountains and places to play, meaning Spot's gardens, a basket for bees, a rubber duck pond, and a kiosk for cheese. She drew everything down, every thought on her map of the park, which was perfectly perfect by quarter till dark. She drifted to sleep in her soft, cozy bed. Then, bam, she woke up with a thought smacked her head. Her heart skipped a beat as she realized each one of her neighbors had said, "Let me know when it's done." They all thought Sofia could build it alone. But how could one girl do so much on her own? The weight of that thought made her tender heart ache. As night thunder growled, she lay wide awake. Then dawn brought a storm, and the gloomy sky wept. And the heart-sick Sofia finally slept. Abuelo baked cookies when Sophie got up. He gave her a bagful and sneaked one to Pup. He blinked back a tear as he hugged Sofia. For courage, he whispered, "Te amo, mi vida." Sofia's knee wobbled. She felt weak inside. She looked at his ankle and quite nearly cried. Though she didn't feel brave or courageous at all, Sofia went to face City Hall. So library and City Hall. The mayor's office sent her to room 401, the Blue River Creek Department of Fun, which sent her downstairs to room 302, the office of duck ponds and cool things to do. To the office of monkeys, to the Department of Cheese, a division of fountains and meetings of bees, then down to the basement so musty and cramped, where all the town's papers were sorted and stamped, And that's where the clerk said what no one else did. You can't build a new park. You're only a kid. The word smacked Sofia deep down in her heart. Her plan was kiboshed before it could start. I think, said Sofia, I think the law's wrong. But her second-grade voice didn't sound very strong. The clerk said clearly, it cannot be done. Do you have any questions? Sofia said one. If you were me, and if I was you, and he was your grandpa, what would you do? Well, said the clerk. Then she said nothing at all. She thought and she thought. Then she sent out a call to every employee throughout City Hall. The entire government of Blue River Creek crammed into the office to hear Sophie speak. But her words jumbled up and her cheeks turned bright red as dozens of emotions rushed into her head. Her heart beat so loudly she thought it would crack. The crowd leaned in closer. Sofia leaned back. Then her arm brushed the edge of the old cookie sack. And that was the moment when Sofia first knew being brave means doing something you must do. Through your heart cracks with fear, though you're just in grade 2. She took a deep breath, looked the mayor in the eye. She thought her knees, and though her knees wobbled, she held her head high. And Sofia started talking. She spelled out her plan and why it all mattered and how it began. And once she got rolling, she had lots to say about meeting spots, monkeys, and places to play, and other ideas for things they could do to help the town elders and other folks too. She had thoughts on the library, thoughts on the zoo, and perhaps a way to combine the two and a zoo library. All right, cried the mayor, go start a petition. If the town wants a park, we'll form a commission. And so young Sofia got right to work, with some help from her family and Pup and the clerk. Everybody wants a park. Then others joined in, not all, but a few. Little Miss Lila Greer and the kids in grade 2. Do we see anybody we recognize there? I see Iggy Pack, I see Ada Twist, and I see Rosie Revere. There were hearings and surveys and taxes to figure, then bulldozers and cranes and a blue bigger digger. They all built that park. That's how it got done, with the hard work of by, and for everyone. But he began with a dream of one person, just one, who laced up her shoes, then led the way to help Blue River Creek get a new place to play. Now every evening till long after dark, the town comes together at Citizens Park. They all hold the truth to be self-evident that Sofia Valdez could grow up to be president. Until then, Sofia, a real-life go-getter, helps Blue River Creek get better and better. And that's the end. Another great book. I just love Andrea Beatty, her author. She does such a good job writing and the rhyming. So, what dance was popular in 1776? Well, it was independence. Get it? Because we got our freedom. Fun. I miss you. I love you. I'll see you soon, boys and girls. Bye-bye.